I thought we'd do something a little bit fun today. I thought we would take a look at some of the best cartoon fathers that I have ever seen in animation. Fathers that go through great lengths to Yeah. Is that
You daft bastard! You drop me off in a home, leave me there, and do this for a living!
Sorry.
Make content! Nobody's proud of you, you fucking pig! Everybody has seen how big you've gotten! You fucking scoundrel! Here's a little lobster cat toy! Do you want to eat that too, big boy?
What are you saying? What are you... That's my father. Emerging from his crypt, and I guess he's got a point. You know, maybe I shouldn't be talking about good fathers. Maybe I should be talking about the worst fathers in animation history. Fathers who have went through great lengths to make their own children suffer for our enjoyment or for our hatred. I'm gonna be the judge of that. If you like content just like this, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Let's take a look at some of the worst animated cartoon fathers. So I know some of you are probably shaking and sweating. You can't believe the video has gone on for this long. You might even give yourself a testicular torsion, but don't worry, I'm gonna butter your biscuit. We're gonna get to the meat of it, what you really came here for. Now, the guy in the thumbnail with the big meaty belly, the huge bazoongas staring down at you seductively, maybe to a small few, it was just a naked man you didn't recognize and you wanted him so bad you had to click on the video, but to most, that is none other than Peter Griffin. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, Peter? Oh, Peter, that guy, he used to have those good old-fashioned values that we used to rely on. How could he be a bad father? Well, in the first few seasons, he was actually a pretty good father. I mean, he wouldn't do the best stuff for everybody, but he was more like a Homer Simpson copycat in a way, where he would do some awful shit, but still morally he cared about his family. In modern age Family Guy, that is definitely gone. Take this clip, for example.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Where Meg is walking in like, hey, Dad, and immediately gets shot down. Now, why would I not highlight that as the worst thing that Peter has ever done? You know, shooting his daughter in the chest as she watches her lifeless corpse sit on the floor, probably going, eh. You know, why would that not be the worst thing? It's because it's funny, and I like it. I looked to the episode Fresh Air, which is an episode that I genuinely hate, as containing some of the worst examples of Peter being a father. And it all started when Chris decided to jork his grandfather's hog. You know, just grabbing it, yanking it, making that pig squeal.
Cool! Hey, next time I want to try it with my hand.
His grandfather was injured, and Chris, by his own fruition, there was no need for this. There was nobody asking. It's not like his grandfather was like, I'm bursting, I need a release, I need my wife to give me a handy. No, Chris looked at his frustrated grandfather and was like, let me show you something. Let me show you a little something, granddaddy, and gave him a big old meaty crank. And that's a little bit odd, to say the least, but it kind of just showcases Peter's parenting skills. And then it just gets so much worse. Peter has created an entire family of incestuous pigs, and he attempts to marry his son. All to get a little bit of crumb, a little bit of dollar, a little bit of dinero, some doubloons. It is what he desired, and it's so weird, man. He doesn't love Chris at the beginning of the episode. He treats him like garbage. He doesn't really want him. And then Chris, because he jorked off his grandfather and gave him a good old-fashioned, he is going to get all the inheritance. So Peter starts acting like Chris, wanting to do things with Chris, wanting to be with Chris. And then he eventually gets down on one knee and is like, oh, Chris, will you marry me?
I want to take this to the next level. Chris Griffin, will you marry me?
And the majority of it is played up for just a joke, but then Peter becomes a little bit pedophilic, and also there's some other things about the family that is revealed, and it all comes down to the father. You know, you got a father who's present in your life, and you're still this incestuous, then you got a couple of problems, because he runs into Meg after he's in Chris's room cleaning it up. Meg walks in and is like, hey, Chris, are you ready for our bath together?
Chris, our bath is ready.
So the siblings are getting down and dirty together, and the father wants to marry the son. There are some implications here of a crazed family that should probably reside in Alabama, and it doesn't make me feel good. And it gets even worse when Peter goes to the store, and initially it's all played for laughs, but then he sees another father and son, and the son is clearly under the age of 18, and Peter just is looking him up and down going, "Oh, Zooey mama, baby!"
Holy wackazoli, Dad!
And Chris, he feels hurt by this, so not only does Peter only want Chris for his money, his dirty, hogged, jerked off money that he's going to get, so much so that he's going to marry his son, Peter also reveals his pedophilic tendencies in a way that hurts Chris, denying their romantic love, their romantic relationship, because he wants to get down and dirty with another young boy. So in one single episode, Peter doesn't love his son initially, his son goes and jerks off an old man, Peter finds out about the jerkening and wants all of the money that he's going to get, Peter asks him to marry him, Peter then pedophilically stares at a young boy's buttocks and really wants it, and then, to top it all off, at the end of the episode, they don't even get married because Peter has a big reveal that he should just love his son for who he is. Well, woo-wee. An incestuous ride to get there for Peter to learn a lesson to not want to marry his own son. Obviously, you know, there might be some other worse things that Peter has done, but this just is a prime example of shitty writing in such a weird way that I just don't like it. I personally don't necessarily find incest to be very funny. Some of you might. Some of you may have loved when Chris was jorking off his grandfather and Peter was staring down at a young boy's ass, and then there was this entire cheating scandal with it. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're into. I personally don't like it. I would love to hear what Peter Griffin moment when it comes to his kids was by far the most disturbing for all of you, but I just think Peter is like stereotypical horrible father. That's why I had to get him out of the way first. Next up, I'm going to be taking a look at regular show, and it's going to be Rigby's dad, Sherm. Now, there are a lot of fathers in regular show that we get to see. Some of them not very good, like Benson's father. Some of them amazing, like Muscle Dad. And then there's Rigby's dad, who is just kind of a piece of shit. He's a lot more of a down-to-earth example of a bad father compared to like a Peter Griffin or a Homer Simpson, but still a bad father nonetheless. The episode that I'm going to be using to highlight this is Rigby Goes to Prom. Now, I want you to at least put yourself in Sherm's shoes. He's just a guy who's like, I'm your father! I'm your father, Rigby! You're 27 and you're back in high school! Should I really love you? Should I be proud? And that's where my biggest, gripe with this is. Yes, Rigby is bettering himself, but how would you feel if you're a washed-up 50-year-old man, you've done everything to provide for your family, and your son comes to you when he's 27, you've given him everything, maybe not in terms of, I believe in you, son, I love you, son, but in terms of a education, opportunities, and eventually he's all like, hey dad, I'm 27 and I'm graduating high school and I'm 27 and I'm going to prom. Would you really be that proud? I don't know. I mean, it's a good accomplishment for Rigby, but if my son was 28 and was finally getting his shit together, graduating high school, and also going to prom, I'd be like, well, good for you. A little weird, but good for you. It's everything else that Sherm does in this episode that really makes him a terrible piece of shit that kind of makes me violently angry. I just want to grab his little raccoon face and just yeah, you know, just get really deep into there. Because Rigby, he comes to dinner and he wants to ask his father to borrow the car just to give Eileen a good night, you know, drive her to prom, be looking really good, get a little bit of, oh, you know, get some of that. And his father doesn't want to give up the car because he thinks Rigby is just there because he needs something, which again isn't necessarily untrue. Would Rigby have gone to see his father if he didn't need the car? No, probably not. It wasn't just a visit to see his father, but his father is still very aggressive with him the entire time. So Rigby's mom eventually steals the keys, gives it to Rigby, which again goes against the father's consent, which again you could maybe be on Sherm's side. After all, he is his father! But then Sherm just has a little bit of a manic episode when he finds out that Rigby took his car. He hears about it, and he immediately storms prom in his underwear, going around like, have you seen Rigby? I'm his father! Have you seen him anywhere?
Where's my car? It's the most important thing to me!
I'm his father. I love him more than I love I love my car more than I love Rigby. He wants to brutally assault Rigby for even remotely touching his car. So he's going around in his underwear looking like an absolute Chad, wanting to find Rigby. He eventually stumbles upon him on top of this mountain where they were hanging out together, all of them enjoying their lives, and Sherm shows up, just Rigby, and gets in the car, so much so that he's having a raging fit, a baby mode fit, that his car is perfectly fine and Rigby was using it, so much so that he starts harassing and saying that Rigby is going to ruin Eileen's life, telling his son that he's a failure, he's a nothing, he can't do it good enough for Eileen. And then, in his baby man rage, he drives the fucking car off of a cliff.
What?
You heard me!
Look out!
He drives it off of a cliff. Can you imagine if they just fucking fell and died? His last moments are, I'm your father, Rigby, and I don't love you one bit. You've always been a disappointment, Rigby. You're gonna ruin your girlfriend's life, you son of a bitch. Can you imagine? Like that was genuinely probably somebody's life. Like anybody who's been in a car crash, like they're like 25 and all they do is just scroll Reddit all day and they're just like, but Dad, I have 27 princesses on Discord. I don't care about your princesses, son. I just want you to get a job. Just get out of my house, please. And then he just crashes off a cliff and die. But either way, Rigby, he fucking has to grab his just limp father because his father's falling off a cliff and he just shuts down like... So Rigby has to grab his limp father, pull him out of the way, and his dad, as they're watching him crumbling down a cliff, is all like, no, he's gonna crash my car! You're going off the cliff, motherfucker. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think's going on here? And so Rigby, he's able to save the day, meander his way, and dodge things. The car's a little beat up, but they get to keep his lives. And then his dad just has the remarkable realization. Rigby, are you okay, son? I love ya. Rigbone, give me some sugar. Like, what are we talking about here? All of a sudden you love him because he saved your life, not because he's been advancing, not because he's doing better. Like, that's such conditional love. If that never happened, his Sherm would never see that Rigby is doing good things and would have never loved him, would have never cared about him, and that's a little bit messed up to me. It bothers me on multiple levels. Like, I know not every fucking dad can be amazing, but genuinely, what was his reaction supposed to be when Rigby saved his life? Oh no, bro, my car, what have you done here, bro? I can't believe that you would do something like this, and I hate you, Rigby. Oh, Rigby, you saved me? Ooh. Oh, I love you, Rigby. Like, there was only one way to go with that, and I wish that there would have been a moment where maybe he loved Rigby for something else, but that never really comes. This is supposed to be the big moment where they come back together and they're happy again, but it was a little lackluster to me in terms of the love department. Rigby's dad is a bad father, but you could kind of get on his side initially until you see how much he truly doesn't care about Rigby, even remotely, until it actually, you know, benefits him. And that's why he's just not a very good dad. Do you think Fire Lord Ozai from Avatar: The Last Airbender was the type of guy to, like, wake up every morning, look in a mirror, and just go, ooh, you got it. I am the Phoenix King. You think he was that kind of guy, like given that kind of vibe? Because to me, he gives that kind of vibe of just being so narcissistic and self-centered that he can't really think about anybody but himself, and he thinks that everything he does is justified and right for his overall purpose. I mean, hell, the man killed his own father so that he could be ruler, and after it, he was probably like, who's in charge? Who's in charge? Like, that's the vibe that Fire Lord Ozai always gave to me. And when it comes to being a father, he really did know better. I mean, he got rid of his children's mother because, you know, he had to use her in order to poison and murder his own father. So yeah, that was taken away, long gone. And then when his boy is around the nice old age of 12, when Zuko is 12, and they're talking about brutally slaughtering, brutally murdering a lot of people, and the 12-year-old boy in the war meeting is like, maybe we shouldn't kill those people. What? What? No! And then the man, decides that the best course of action is to duel his son in an Agni Kai, mortally wounding his face with a scar so that he can always remember to respect Daddy.
And suffering will be your teacher. I looked away.
Because every time Zuko walked by his father in the bathroom and he was going, you know, he lost a little bit of respect for him. But clearly, the best way to get that back is to mortally wound his face, which is so dumb in hindsight. Like, I can't think of a single situation in which, you know, that would result in a positive experience with your father. I mean, Ozai clearly did it because he just didn't like Zuko at all and wanted him to go away. Like, oh, you spoke about sparing lives. Let me wound you with a burn, my 12-year-old son, and banish you until you find the Avatar. The Avatar! The thing that nobody has seen in the past 100 years. He's fucking rubbing his fucking elbow with the general, like, you hear me, boys? He's gonna go and find the Avatar. Can you just imagine, like, his face? I wish we got to see his reaction when fucking everyone was saying that Zuko was the one who killed the Avatar. Or hell, that the Avatar was really in existence. He's just thinking, oh my fucking god, my son is gonna come back now. And then we get to season 3 when Zuko finally gets to confront his father, and just all the narcissism, like, comes rushing to him, because fucking Zuko's sitting there and he's like, my father, a man who wounded a 12-year-old boy for speaking out of turn. It was to teach you respect.
How can you possibly justify a duel with a child?
It was to teach you respect.
It was cruel, and it was wrong.
You really believe that? I'm surprised he didn't start hitting him with, you didn't learn your lesson clearly. Have you been doing this in the mirror, Zuko? Ooh. I'm surprised he didn't start hitting none of that, because oh my god, he's just jerking himself off in front of his son there, saying, oh, it's to teach you respect. Oh yeah. Like, I'm so glad that we got this moment of Zuko actually standing up to his father, like almost being able to kill him with lightning, choosing not to, redirecting it. It's so badass. It's so cool. I absolutely love it. But yeah, Ozai was obviously going to be on this list. I just really wanted to make fun of him for being like a stereotypical frat boy looking at himself in the mirror thinking that he's hotter than any fine woman that he's ever seen in his entire life. You know, I really wouldn't consider myself to be a violent person despite the way that my nose looks. This is from me not being cooked in my mother's womb long enough, not enough time in the oven. It was deformed like that. I didn't take a big old nasty right to the face to develop this. I'm not that much of a fighter. Yes, I played sports. Yes, I've wrestled. I played football. I did all this stuff, but I'm not a violent guy. Okay? But there is one fictional character that if I was to see him out in the open, I would rush at him like this, grab his neck, strangle him as he begs for more, grab him, put him in my deep fryer whilst I'm singing a little bit of a song like, ooh, you know I like my chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday night, and I'd grab him out and I would start consuming his flesh. And that belongs none other to Buck Cluck. I fucking hate Buck Cluck. Now, who here has seen Chicken Little? Who here has seen Chicken Little in the past year? Probably nobody. That movie's really not that good. It never has been. It's not horrible, but it's not the best thing I've ever seen. I'm never hankering sitting down like, ooh, time to watch Chicken Little. You know, like, I never have found anybody that excited to watch it. But, you know, that could be attested to the father in that movie, Buck Cluck. This man is a psychopath. This man is a sociopath. And this is one of the shittiest fathers that Disney has ever produced and I've ever seen. I don't even know how they came up with this guy. He's a buffoon. He's a simpleton. He's a clucker. I don't like him one bit. Okay? So at the beginning of this movie, Chicken Little is alerting the entire town of something desperately and dastardly wrong. Something is going wrong. He alerts the whole town. He just cares for their safety. Like, nobody in the entire town, like, took that into consideration. Like, man, you know, I know this guy rang this fucking bell, but he's just trying to keep us all safe. And he says that the sky is falling. And Buck Cluck walks up and he's like, oh, my son did this. Oh, it's just an acorn. He said the sky was falling, but just an acorn hit him on the head. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Oh.
Piece of the sky. It's okay, everyone.
Dad, no.
There's been like a little mistake.
And he immediately just doesn't believe anything that his son is saying, belittles him in front of the entire town, makes him look like a buffoon, makes him look like a charlatan. He doesn't want anything to do with his son. On the drive home, he just has immeasurable disappointment. Like, oh, how could you be my son? How could you be my son? No, I don't believe you. I'm done with you. I don't believe a damn thing. He shuts his son out. And Chicken Little, just trying to be the best guy that he could be, he wants to maybe impress his dad by playing a little bit of baseball. So Chicken Little's sitting back there and he's like, hey Dad, what if I play some baseball? Dad's like, oh, baseball? You want to play baseball? You're not good at that. You can't do that. We talked about this, son. You're gonna embarrass me.
Join the baseball team.
Sorry there, buddy. Sorry. Baseball?
Just basically, like, constantly backhanding his own kid. He's in fucking middle school. Let him play ball. What's the worst that's gonna happen? He's gonna choke? Okay, who's expecting a whole lot from Chicken Little in the first place? Maybe he'll do something that'll impress you, Dad. You fucking moron. I just hate him. I despise him. I have never wanted to eat someone as bad as Cluck. As Buck Cluck. I hate him. And so his son eventually does get to play baseball. How awesome. And he hits a dinger. He hits a home run and everybody celebrates him. And all of a sudden, his dad's parading him around like, woo-hoo-hoo, let me put you on my shoulders. That's my boy. We are the champions, my friends. You know, just getting real down and dirty with his son. That might not be the best way to describe it. Just having a really good time with him. He's putting in so much time and giving love to his son because, like, oh, finally my son is normal. He's doing things. He's going places. Oh my God, I love him. Until there's actual genuine aliens that Chicken Little sees, and he has the sky fall on him once again, and it's revealed to be real. All of it actually happened, and this threatens everything with his father. Like, imagine, you know, having an existential crisis in which the sky falls and it hits you, you know it's true, and your dad walks in and you have to hide it from him because he's just a dirty chicken and he can never amount to anything. Like, I can't imagine having a situation like that where I'm genuinely concerned for the entire town's lives, and my dad walks in and he's like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And my dad's just in the, what's over there? Over there, what are you talking about? And you can't even tell him because he's such a piece of shit father. He's like, okay, we'll get some sleep, bucko.
Get over there.
Over where?
There.
Where?
There. How'd you get over there?
Who are we talking about?
Okay, so that happens. And then when there's an actual genuine alien spaceship chasing Chicken Little and it camouflages itself, thus making Chicken Little look like a paranoid freak once again, who does Chicken Little turn to be the guy that can help him out? His father stares him dead in the face and tells the entire town that his son is insane once again. Oh, it happened again! Oh, my bitch of a son, my little pipsqueak over there, my little rooster. He's clearly manic. He clearly has problems. Oh, God. I miss when you were good at baseball, you piece of shit. Oh, no.
I can't tell you how embarrassed I am, folks. I'm really sorry.
And he just tells everybody that his son is manic. And you would think if, you know, your son was having all these problems, like thinking the sky is falling down and he's clearly in middle school, maybe you'd get him some help, Buck. Maybe you'd take him to the psych ward. Maybe you'd get him some treatment. Maybe you'd get him medically induced somewhere because you clearly can't take care of him, you failure of a father. You would think he would go the extra mile to care about his little chicken, but he doesn't give a shit. I mean, hell, he named his fucking son Chicken. You think he cares? Like, oh, my wife is dead. I'm left with this infant. I don't even care about it. Let's just call it Chicken. Chicken Little. Oh, yeah, that's my son right there. And he doesn't come around to his son until he actually sees it. So I guess that's whatever. He's just not a very good father. It's just another situation of, I only love you if you benefit me, you little runt. And that's just not how you're supposed to do it. Did you know that it's been 6 years since a 40-year-old man grabbed his son by the neck and gave him a good old strangling, which is something that I kind of miss. Homer strangling Bart was just something that I, expected when watching The Simpsons. If Bart was going to act a fool, I would expect somebody to be strangling him. It's just a part of the show. And the only type of person that I could imagine getting mad about that is like a 400-pound person, like going to McDonald's like, "Hey, you didn't put mustard on my burger. I'm gonna kill you!" That's the only person that I can imagine would get mad and be all like, "Dear Simpsons crew, I am so hurt and devastated that Homer strangles his son."
You little, I'll teach you to laugh at something that's funny.
He's been doing it since like 1999. At this point, I'm sure that Bart is all for it. It's just a part of the show. But either way, that is one of the things that you could highlight, I guess, as being an example of Homer Simpson being a bad father. But I feel like the prime example of Homer truly being awful comes from the Simpsons movie itself, in which Homer, upon hanging out with his son, dares him to get naked and skate across town. Now, raise your hand if your dad ever told you to strip down, get naked, and go and expose yourself to every single person. If you're raising your hand, your dad probably isn't a very good person. If you're like, 21, yeah, that's a crime, yeah, that's horrible, you probably scarred somebody for life, but at least you were a grown man. This is a 10-year-old little boy skating down the street with everybody peeping and staring at his wiener. That is not a good idea. But Bart does it nonetheless, skating around with his little thang swanging everywhere, and eventually even us, the viewers, get to see his thang. So everybody in the movie theater, millions of people, were all exposed to Bart's 10-year-old penis. If you've seen the Simpsons movie, you've seen his penis. And that is a little bit strange, and it's all caused by Homer, who literally was like, "Oh, Bart, if you don't go and get naked and run amok in front of everybody, you're a chicken. Mirge, our son's a chicken, Mirge. Back, Mirge. Go fucking get naked, Bart." And eventually, Bart ends up at a restaurant, and he is handcuffed by the police. He is waiting for his father to show up, who doesn't show up until sunset, so Bart is left naked, handcuffed to a street lamp for hours. And then when his dad shows up, the police are like, "Did you dare your son to do this? Did you ask him to do this?" And Homer's like, "No! He's a menace to society. Please let me go home to my wife, Mirge. Let me go home to Mirge, please." And then he went home, and Marge was like, "Oh, homie, you left our naked son there. Oh, homie." And that was the end of it. Bart was just left betrayed, abandoned, and naked. And that is a travesty. I truly think that's probably the worst thing Homer has done, at least to Bart. He's done horrible things to Marge and to Lisa, but I think this one just kind of takes the cake for me as an example of Homer being a horrible father. Next, I'm going to be taking a look at Moral Orel, and specifically it's going to be Clay Puppington, the father of Orel. Now, Moral Orel is the type of show to where when they do comedy, it can be really funny, but when they do dark situations and dark storylines, they make it feel so real. And that's never more apparent than in the episode Nature Part 2, and this one's going to be a lot more serious than the other ones where I'm doing impressions and trying to make you laugh. This is just by far one of the worst fathers that has ever been put into the animated world. You wouldn't really expect this going into a show like Moral Orel, especially if you've never seen it. It honestly still shocks me when I see it, but in the episode Nature, we see that Clay really likes to drink. It's been a theme for the entire show, but here it is amplified to the extreme where he is drinking non-stop over and over again.
Hunting dogs are just nature's rabbits.
Trying to get Orel to shoot something. Eventually, he's so drunk that he's having breakdowns in front of his son. He can't control himself in front of his son. He's belittling his son. He doesn't like his son, and he's just making his son feel awful. So much so that Orel is begging him to stop drinking, saying that he becomes bad when he drinks, and eventually shoots at his dad, or just in fear grabs the trigger. And instead of hitting his father, he ends up hitting his father's liquor bottles, and Clay can't have that. "Oh, you hit my liquor, son. Oh, God." So he starts freaking out, trying to get his belt off, while Orel, once again, is just saying you become a bad person when you drink and you need to stop. And eventually, Clay, not being able to get his belt off to beat his son, grabs a gun and shoots him in the leg.
Bups no boners. Don't butt me!
And he doesn't feel bad about this at all. He just shoots him, laughs about it, says that's what he deserves, that's nature's punishment for being such a bad little kid, puts a really poorly made tourniquet on it, and falls asleep, passes out drunk, where Oral is left with a gun, and a bear shows up, and Oral has to kill the bear, which he really did not want to do, as his dad just sleeps the entire next day away, and when he finally comes to it, he doesn't care that Oral is shot. He doesn't care at all. He doesn't remember doing it. And he just goes on with his life, taking him to a doctor who will not ask questions. And he ultimately does not give a shit about his son. He just goes on and on about how it's all women's fault. Women did this to him. And women are the main cause for Oral going through this. And it is such a dark storyline. I don't really have anything else to say about this one. I don't really have any jokes for this one, just because it genuinely feels so dark. If you've never seen an episode like this, I would probably recommend checking it out if you want to truly understand the feeling you get while watching this episode. It is not a good one. Clay Puppington might be one of the worst fathers in just animated history. The final father I'm going to be talking about is Timmy Turner's dad from Fairly Odd Parents, and I was going to dive deep into this one, look at a couple of episodes where he's a little bit of a dick to Timmy. Obviously, he doesn't really care about his son's existence. He leaves him with a vindictive, evil woman that Timmy has probably explained multiple times that she's evil, and he doesn't really care. He's busy. He should have had a daughter, but there's really one scene that truly highlights just how Timmy Turner's dad feels about him. I'm just gonna play that for you.
My dreams were shattered years ago.
How many years ago?
How old are you?
Yeah, it doesn't really get any better than that, does it? He does not really care about his boy. His mom and dad are basically the same person. I mean, that's why he has those fairly godparents, because he needs them, because everybody in his life is just unbelievably fucking stupid. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Obviously, I left off a decent amount of fathers. There were plenty of more that I could have talked about. Omni-Man, Richard Watterson's dad, Frankie, Doofenshmirtz's parents. There was lots of other ones that I could have included on this list, but if you have another one that I didn't talk about that you think is worth being discussed, make sure to comment it down below and I'll be sure to read it and give you my thoughts there as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.